What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of What the Game Means to Me. Of course, it's our Atlanta Hawks fly through edition. We haven't done one of these in a minute. Definitely long overdue. Haven't done one since I believe preseason outlook, and it's been a it's been an interesting set of first of 11 games. I guess to put it in a nice way. And of course, we're here to break it down. Of course, I got my guys with me as always. Fresh and John from the Hoopers. How y'all doing, man?
Good, man.
Nothing much. And of course, Brice as well from Fan Side Media and also Sideline Sports, another friend of mine. How you doing today, bro?
I'm good, my guy. I'm good.
we sound a little somber all the way around. I know. Definitely. Nobody really sounded too excited, but I understand why it's a 47 start. But like I said, I wanted to start the show a little bit of positivity for the city. You know, the Hawks are supposed to be our little bit of positivity, but definitely happy that our Braves brought one home. City's been needing it for a minute. I know Brice. I'm a halfway Braves fan. I'm only a Braves fan when they're in the playoffs because my Mets get kicked out every single year. So every time they're in the playoffs, I definitely got to root from the home squad and was happy to be able to bring it home. Of course, shout out pretty much the front office. They brought in the outfield that pretty much carried us throughout the entire postseason. And like I said, I know Brice, I read his tweets all the time, pitching stepped up, especially the bullpen and starting pitching as well, even when Charlie Morton went down. But definitely want to give them their flowers. Brice, I'm gonna say give you the floor, and of course the Hoopers as well. Just kind of like maybe talk about your experience, maybe if I did go to the parade, or just overall just seeing the team finally bring home a championship.
Yeah, it was great to see, man. I think some people may look at it as a changing in the guard of Atlanta sports, having that championship, what I'm saying? We're still at the start of the 2020s. We don't count 2020. So I think that has been big for us. Just seeing what happened, the story this team went through to get to this point to win the championship. Mm-hmm. I think it's very inspirational. Obviously, I moved, so I couldn't go to a parade, or else I would. I had to be out there with my guy Blooper, but they'll come one day. So I'm glad for the city to get this championship. Because everybody looked at Atlanta United winning like, it's not the major sport, so it's not the same. So it's big for us right now to be able to get this championship and kind of just have a more positive feel when it comes to Atlanta sports and feeling like, okay, yeah, we can pull off the big game or big series.
Exactly. And John Fresh, you said obviously natives of Atlanta as well. Just talk a little bit. I know we've seen a lot of highs and lows come and go. Some championships slipped out of our hand. I know me and Brice know a lot about that. But just I guess what did you feel? I don't know if y'all got out, y'all just stayed in the house on Friday, but just talk a little bit about just maybe what it felt, what it meant to y'all, I guess, just to see a championship be brought to the city.
It was definitely cool to see. Like, we've always been Braves supporters for sure, because the Braves were always good, but just never could get over the top. I was gonna go to the parade, but ended up having to do some stuff with my son, so I didn't make it out there. And it was cold as hell. It was pretty cold. But it, like, I had a lot of friends that was there, so to see people, like, because they ended it, they flew through downtown Atlanta.
Oh yeah,
got to the stadium real quick because that's where the party was. But they were really like, it was cool to see everybody in the stadium. Like Big Boy was there, and they performed, and everybody there was celebrating and stuff. So that actually was dope. Like, last time we won, I was 5 years old. I can remember the 2000 World Series when we played the Yankees. And I was like 10 then, and I can remember that, and that's the last time we went to the World Series. Always would win the division, but never could get over the top. So it was just cool to see, and it's just cool for the city too, because I know that Atlanta United won a championship, but the soccer team is so new. They have fans out here clearly, but the Braves is like Atlanta history for real. So it's different for them to win the championship over like United winning. Shout out to United in their championship also, but it was definitely dope for the Braves to win.
For sure. Is that might be
not back? We back. But just imagine though, just as many people love the Braves, it'll be next level if the Falcons were ever to do it. So just imagine how crazy it is. happy with them. But it was good to see for the Braves to do it.
Sure. But first, to address my cousin, yes, the Hawks did beat the Knicks in 5.
They did.
That's first.
Gentleman sweep, really. It's really 4.5.
That's first. That's first.
4.5.
Oh, it's not. Got kicked out. They'll probably be back in a second. But yeah, just like they were saying, it would be next level if the Falcons did it. I know we probably need to do a Falcons fly through because we in the playoffs right now. At the end of the day, we 4-4 playing Aaron Rodgers, or we're playing Jordan Love. We never know who we're gonna play. Honestly,
never know.
But definitely said glad to just see them bring one home. But now to more I guess serious matters. There we go.
We back, y'all. The Knicks took us offline.
Edgar behind the scenes. Cut y'all Edgar behind the scenes.
Edgar's the young thug. Take him
now. Oh man, Prez was like, nah. But yeah, I was like, we just switched over topics. I was like, we definitely had to give them their flowers, but more serious matters, of course. Our team's 4-7 right now. I just put, what are we doing? It looks like we're decent in stretches of games, but like the last 2 games, like the third quarter has just been horrendous. I don't really know why. But I guess before we get into maybe things that Nate may be doing, some things that the players may be doing right or wrong, just like what is your personal outlook just on this 4-7 start and dropping 4 in a row?
I guess I'll start. But this is what I know. This is something Fresh has been saying since the end of the Eastern Conference Finals. We went to the Eastern Conference Finals. It's over now. We can't live off that, and they living off of that. And they, like I said, sometimes they just kind of lollygag. They went to last night against the Warriors, leading at halftime. We clearly need to start playing defense as well. That's first and foremost. 61 points in the first half. That's terrible. But it's like they're not playing with that fire that they play with in the conference finals. I mean, just in the playoffs in general, or just at the end of the regular season. And that's what's really hurting them. Like, we could all see they kind of playing down to the competition with some bad losses, but they're still not even rising to the competition as well. Like the Warriors are 9-1 right now at this point. Brooklyn is, regardless of what their record is, they're gonna be one of the better teams. And
they're 7-4 after last night.
So we're not even playing up to those teams at this point.
Utah,
right? Mm-hmm. But, it's just a weird place right now in the first 11 games. I think everybody thought that these would be a little better days, honestly.
Yeah, I thought to start the season they started off pretty strong, but to your point, we went kind of that stretch of playing like the Cavs, some of the lower teams, and they kind of played down to the competition. The lower team, and they played down. And now you need those games for the momentum. So when you get in distress, because I know they've lost a couple of games in a row, but when you look at the teams that they've lost to, you can understand it. But they're not finishing the games, in my opinion.
And the games sometimes.
Yeah, and that too. And it's a few players out there that I just expected more from. That, like, you're not getting that from Capella, Kevin Huerter. He's still at his deal signing because I ain't seen him all year. Cam was playing pretty well. Cam has been the most. He was hot, and now he's kind of cooled off a little bit. I feel like he's been the most consistent thing on the team this year. And then Dre's been kind of in and out. I know we just got Gallo back, but did we get him back?
Is that for another 3 weeks?
This is what could come in. It's still early, so the 4-7 star is not what we want or whatever. But it's still time to turn it around or whatever. Then Trey got to get out of playing to the refs. Honestly, you just got to go out and hoop at some point. Can't worry about the fouls or going back and forth with them.
Yeah, for sure. Brice, what you think?
Yeah, I mean, for me, with the team right now, I think, I've kind of expressed this a little bit today that I think, what's going on right now is a product of something that we really don't see in the NBA a lot. And that's a lot of teams that have a lot of their best players below 25 being the best team in the conference, because usually, what do you usually hear for teams that make that run? They've been through the wars, multiple years of failures, but they've been in the playoffs. They're breaking through the ceiling. They just got to break through. And for us, last year was our first year of success in years. especially with this unit, with this group.
Yeah.
And this is the first time they had success. So clearly, how are they going to respond to having success? Like you said, the Eastern Conference Finals. And right now they're kind of living off of it a little bit. I also think that, for them, I feel like they have the ultimate goal of competing for a championship, but they don't have the goals in between that's needed to get you there. Like, as a team, like when the regular season, like when Trey said the regular season is boring, I'm sure every top team is like, you're right. Yeah. But the thing is that they still have goals that they want to accomplish throughout the regular season. Like, okay, let's make sure our defense is better this year. Let's at least, let's say for the Hawks, you may say like, okay, let's try to get home court this year. Like things like that you would be like, okay, we have something to play for. So now these games kind of matter. And then when we get there and when we accomplish our goals, then we can go to the ultimate goal. And I think right now it seems like they just focus on the end, but they don't have anything in the middle. And I think that's really kind of messing with them right now and what's going on and stuff. So I think they just got to figure out that, and that's where the motivation will come from. I think, we'll play better over time. I think with the roster being fully healthy, you have a lot of guys who haven't actually played together a ton. Mm-hmm. Somebody's going to take a step back this year because there's just too many guys to keep doing what they did last year. Yeah, someone's not going to look as good. But if they can do the role that they're asked to do at a high level, you'll be happy. Like I said, what John Collins went through last year is what the entire team's going through this year, having to figure out how we going to do things. And I feel like John's been one of the most consistent players because when he's not been in foul trouble, I mean, he's pretty much done everything. It's just they stopped giving him the ball, especially the last two games.
Yeah, it was weird. Like I think they said he only had like one shot in the second half yesterday.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just
After
like,
anything he wanted.
It clearly seems like when they play through Trey and John, and those are the two guys, the last two games, they've had success, and then they just stop. They just stop going to John.
Yeah.
Hey, I got a question. So I missed this, but did Trey actually said the regular season is boring? He said that?
Yeah, he said the regular season is boring.
Wow. Yeah. I didn't catch that.
It was a thing on Twitter, saying when he said it, because they're like, oh boy, now just tell us how you really feel. So
right. I think it came like shortly after he was talking about, like, it seems kind of personal that they're not getting some of the foul calls, like the team. So I don't know which one came before which, but I think they were like around the same, like in the same week. So it was like, okay.
Yeah, he was talking about just like what's going on with the team and why they're not playing well right now. Yeah. Like, we're trying to figure some things out and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it definitely was interesting. That's one of the things I wanted to hit on since we brought it up. I guess we talk about it now. Like I said, Trey's thoughts like the last few, last week or so. Been talking about just the team struggles. Like I said, like you just said, Fresh. Regular season feel like it's boring. They need to find that motivation. And then also like just the no calls, it feels a little bit personal. Like we saw in the Suns game, he tried to stick up for DeAndre because CP3 was fouling him. It was like he literally had. We won't even go there. Like he literally like wrapped him up. Like the first close, like wrapped him up. I'm like, all right, no foul.
It's all right.
It is crazy, bro. But like I said, just Trey's thoughts on that. Like, do you guys kind of feel the same way? Like some of the calls aren't going their way, or is it just like a league-wide thing? Like that's been the thing this year. Every time I'm on Twitter, I at least see 1-2 tweets talking about the refs don't really know what a foul is anymore. They've kind of lost sight of it. So, what are your thoughts on it? Just, I guess like for the team, but also like just the league as a whole? Like, you think like now they put these rules in place and they're just like, all right, like, we really ain't gonna call much. We ain't gonna call nothing, or it's like they're still trying to find that balance because of course like. They go over certain tape and look at certain, plays to kind of let them know, like, all right, like this is what we're calling this year, whatever the case may be. But it just seems like they're not calling a lot of things, or they're not being as consistent as they're supposed to. But I guess that's just how it is at the start of the season. But what do you guys think?
Yeah, I hate to play the fence, but I honestly think it's a little bit of both because I do think the refs are trying not to give Trey and like James Harden fouls on purpose. I think the rule was made around them. So I don't think it's crazy to think that they're calling them extra tight. But then at the same time, a lot of those calls I always felt weren't fouls. So I think they are some of them really aren't fouls. I mean, when they throw their body into you and stuff like that. But whenever the rule is kind of geared towards you and the tape that we're watching, you're in it, it's going to be a little more personal. When they were going over, hey, don't call these, it was videos of Trey and James Harden. So
Yeah,
I definitely think it is a little personal, and I think some of them aren't fouls either though. So
yeah.
hate to play the fence, but yeah.
I think this is the early season thing. Like it's still it's still a lot of sloppy basketball being played. Honestly, like 20. Like Russell Westbrook and had a lot of bad turnover games. It's been bad shooting games. Like I think this is the lowest like field goal percentage. Well, it was I know early in the season since like 2004 and free throws since like 2000. So I think it's still trying to figure some stuff out and just adjusting everything. But I think they are missing calls, which they gonna always do. But I think it's just weird now because you try to figure it out. Like so some of them aren't no calls, but then some of them is like. Is it a foul? Did he foul? Like you know how sometimes like you just touch him real quick, my bad. Yeah. Like you touch him, like do I have to call that foul? Like I don't know. It's just weird, and I think it's just 11 games into the season, and we trying to figure out a rule adjustment. Honestly,
I agree.
I feel that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of. I think it's kind of like I said it's like this. I said I feel like refs are calling it now, like it's the playoffs. You know how they kind of swallow the whistle a little bit in the playoffs? Yeah. So think about it. When playoffs happens, like, all right, we know the playoffs coming, they're going to swallow the whistle. Okay. Regular season, you expect everything to get called.
Yeah.
Because it's very iffy every night because it just depends on what the crew want to do that night. Do we want to call it or not? But now it's like they're not. And so then you think, dang, if they're doing this now, what are they going to do in the postseason? I think what's frustrating for a lot of players is that it really feels like I'm literally getting smacked and you're not calling. And so as a player, you're just like, especially every player in the league, you're used to a certain type of rule. You're used to that getting called. So it's hard to make that adjustment now. Yeah, we're just not going to call it anymore. Because sometimes I think the biggest issue is inconsistency with calling. Sometimes they might call that foul and sometimes they might not. Yeah, and so then when you start getting into that, when we did that, they called it, but when we did it, they didn't. So then it's just like you start and it gets in your head. That's why Nate said multiple times, like we're getting into the fouls. And so I think that's the biggest thing. I think right now is just getting used to it because it's affected certain players. I mean, Damian Lillard has not the same season he's had. Devin Booker struggled early. James is still struggling. You've seen it affect players and teams. Like teams that are more physical are taking advantage. That's why I think Cleveland's having success. They have 3 7-footers. They're clearly their game is to play physical.
They was ready for these.
Yeah. So
for this.
If you got a physical team, these rules are going to benefit you.
Mm-hmm. No,
everybody's struggling except Kevin Durant.
Yeah, that's what I say. KD's.
I mean, it's KD. He don't need to get physical.
Like you said, Dame is struggling. Steph is. Even though the Warriors are good, Steph is struggling.
50 ball.
He did, but he shoots like.
But this team is so much better. Not getting the Warriors talk.
Steph is shooting like 35% from three. It's Steph Curry.
It's Steph Curry. No, you're right. That's true. Everybody is.
Yeah,
he did about 50 ball on the Hawks.
He did.
It was clean 50 too. We ain't going to. Well, we probably gotta talk about it.
He shot 50%.
Yeah, but he shot 50% overall too. That's
crazy.
I forgot who called Candace Parker. She said it. Yeah, she was like, when you playing against a young protege, you gotta show him up. I mean, she called it 50 ball, and he had it on 50% shooting. But yeah, I kind of agree with all you guys for sure. You said what, John?
It ain't even that impressive.
He did way more things. So he won championships, all that.
Right. All right.
MVP, nothing. That's whatever. But I agree with all y'all. And then Brice, what you just said too is like I guess that's what Nate's probably preaching as well. Because like you said, the mixture of like they're young, like everybody, pretty much our whole core is under 25. Like. So that type of stuff is going to affect young players as a whole. Like you say, like their mentality, like they've been playing a certain way, even like AAU college wise, like they've been playing a certain way for so many years.
You know how bad college refs can be.
Oh yeah. So we definitely know that. But like you say, it's just an adjustment, like you said, like they're you can see they get frustrated and they get down really easy as well. Like I've seen a few times DeAndre put his head down because I think Jordan Poole may have scored on him, but he felt like he couldn't really get physical because I think he was in foul trouble and he was expecting help to come over, to rotate over, and he couldn't I think it was John that was supposed to rotate over and he didn't. So it's just like, I think overall, maybe affecting, like I said, it's affecting the way they're trying to play defense, but it's also affecting their offense. Like, especially like I said, Trey and the other guys, I feel like it's a balance of like, they feel like they can't get as physical because it's going to be a foul call, but then like teams are being physical with them. They're like I said, they're still kind of young. They're still, I think, in a certain mindset to where they don't fully have that killer mode to where they're just like playing the game. So like Fresh said, like you kind of just got to go out there and hoop, and hopefully Nate can get that under wraps soon because, you know, it is only 11 games in the season, but I feel like these first 11 games move kind of quick. Like,
right?
And we done had like 2 or 3 back-to-backs already, and I know they got another 1 or 2 coming up as well. So like I say, it can go south real quick, but it just seems like this is how all Atlanta teams start anyway. Like we just suck in the beginning, and then eventually we'll turn it on at some point. But not too much of a topic, but I did see, you know, some people talking about it yesterday after our loss. Just second thoughts about Nate McMillan. I guess before we get into that, just like what do y'all like? Because I do know, like, it does seem like the first few games, it seems like this is all experimental. They're not really running pick and roll that much. They're kind of like I said, they're kind of giving everybody a share, if that makes sense. Like then that's also taking shots away from certain guys, like in certain moments that they should be having them. Like I remember, I think it was one game they said Cam probably should have had a few more shots in that second half when he was kind of hot, but we just went away from him. I don't remember which game it was, but I know we lost it. But just, I guess, what do you guys think he's trying to do? Do you think that, I think like Brice has, you know, echoed this so many times, like this is the first time we've had a full team literally in forever. So it's like so many, I guess, you know, new toys and tools to play with. We're just trying to figure out everybody's role. Do you think he's just trying new things on the offensive end, just so like when it does get later in the season or even postseason, you know, we have other things to go to versus just pick and roll with John and Trey, even though it works literally perfectly. But what do you guys think, you know, Nate's doing? Do you think it's working? Do you think he needs to back off of it a little bit and just go to what's been working? And have you had second thoughts about him being our second coach at all?
I mean, for me, I feel like, you know, he is trying to, you know, figure out everything. I think sometimes, you know, biggest criticism I've seen is just some people don't like when he does the second all bench unit, because I feel like sometimes he leaves them out there for too long. And I think I say this, first it's the regular season. Every coach does that, just goes to the regular season. So the second unit, because I sometimes feel like we want Nate to start coaching like he's in the playoffs now, and I'm just like, he's not going to do that. But I get it. I mean, I get why they say it, but like, you know, I feel like he's not going to do it to that extent. Because plus, I think also he's like, if we really have depth, I should be able to trust my second unit to be able to hold for it. Because remember, this team is kind of getting built the way the Golden State Warriors were built in 2015. You got a bunch of guys. You had a second bench unit who you felt like could come into the game and hold it down when Clay and all them went out. Yeah. And so I think the only thing about Nate I could even criticize is that maybe, he might leave him in there a little bit too long. But outside of that, I don't really see anything wrong with it. I know everybody hates when he plays solo. And in case you stake, I don't know if y'all know, but like, you know, DeAndre Hunter's out tonight and Bogey's out tonight, and solo starting. Solo starting. Yeah, they announced the starting lineup. Solo starting tonight, and I know everybody's gonna get up in arms like, why is Cam not starting? Why is Diallo not starting? It's just, you know, he's like, what's this infatuation with Hill? And I'm like, I mean, he just probably feels comfortable with Hill in that situation. He probably wants to keep Cam in the second unit.
He loves his vets.
You know what I'm saying? Exactly. Like, because like, think about the second unit too. Like, you know, you kind of need your guys out there too. So I think he's just trying to figure some things out right now too with the team. I also say when it comes to the rookies, I think he has that old coach mentality. He just doesn't play rookies. You know, that's just him. He just does it. He trusts veterans and guys who've been a part of the system. Like, I'm sure he realistically knows. I know Jalen Johnson's better than Solo, but Solo knows the system. He knows the rotations. He knows the assignments. What if Jalen doesn't know that stuff and that costs us? Yeah, he may be able to score, but I don't want to give up something that Solo wouldn't have given up. It sounds crazy, but that could be how he thinks about it. Yeah. So, I mean, it's one of those things where, you know, I think the one thing I'm just disappointed in before I pass it off to the Hoopers is I don't like, you know, the people who are already coming out asking for Nate to get fired. And it's just like, guys, we're 11 games in, guys. Let's calm down. I don't know why we got to fire. I think it's just people getting that LP taste and they're like, oh, we got to fire him now because he doesn't know how to coach the team. And it's just like, listen, Let's just calm down. Let's see how it goes. Let's let some more time go by, and let's see what happens with the team first. Because listen, everything he's been saying in press conferences, he hasn't been wrong about stuff that's been going on with the team. He's trying to get him to focus. He needs him to stop worrying about calls. He's trying to get them to play on both ends, like, and because we have a lot of issues, and he's like, I'm trying to get them to do it. Like he's definitely trying to grill it into those guys. It's just sometimes I think he can sometimes be better situationally, but he's still trying to work it out with the guys in the locker room and everybody's role and how everybody can best, be successful.
Yeah. Nate, first I just want to say Nate is definitely gonna lead that second unit, and you can guarantee it. But seriously though, I definitely think coming into the year, you have all these players, and even though we brought the core back, it is like new pieces that you kind of want to adjust or whatever. So I definitely think at the beginning he's working out, getting, just trying to figure out his rotations, which is why when certain players are out, you keep Cam on the second unit because you want him running with the second unit. So you're not really messing up your rotation. So that's why Solo starts. I'm not too worried about it. I definitely don't think he should be fired. Like it's crazy to be fired or whatever. But it's just a matter of figuring it out and keeping the team focused, because that's where the regular season boring thing becomes an issue. Because if you don't make it to the regular season, it's not going to be a playoff. And I don't know, not too many 6 seeds that won the championship. So that's probably the last one, and that's almost. So she's trying to figure out the rotations. I definitely agree with Brice as far as like that old school mentality where you don't play young players or whatever. But this is why I don't kind of get. I get why Sharif is in the G League, because there's so many guards with Lou and DeLon. But this is where you really need Jalen, because that Dre has been in and out, and you don't want to just have to depend on Solo. And I get that he probably don't know the system, but he won't know it if he's not playing in it. So I think Jalen, if anything, should be be called up. But I think Nate will figure it out though.
Nate, he's fired. Get him out of there. Get him out of down this way. No, it's the regular season, and like I say, just get a super young team to focus. Like say, Solo, DeLon Wright, and Lou Williams are the only players over 25. If I count everybody age correctly, maybe John, Clint Capella and Collins too.
Yeah,
but
I think Collins is right. I think Collins is Collins is 23. Collins is 23.
Maybe 23, 24. Yeah.
That was 26. Right. So this is a super young team. I think Brice brought that up already, and it's like I said, you get that early success as a young team, and it's like when you. All right, we all been 13. You kind of walk out the house a little different sometimes. Like my shoes fit a little different today, and I think that's how the Hawks are playing. Like the jerseys fit them a little different, and they feel themselves. If you didn't get that, they feel themselves, and it's like Nate has to get that under control, and he does have so many players at the same position that he has to get touches and minutes, and just not playing the pick and roll is just him trying to figure out what works best for everybody, and how do I? Because there's a lot of people who put the ball on the floor. I don't know if anybody noticed that or not. DeAndre Hunter puts the ball on the floor. Cam can put the ball on the floor. Trey, Bogey, Kevin Huerter at times.
Gallinari need his touches.
Yeah, Gallinari, John Collins. Not even necessarily just a scorer, but like Cam can create for other people. Bogey, when he feels like he can't create, we know Trae Young is an automatic 28 and 9 most nights. So it's just figuring out the offense for everybody, because Nate not even necessarily an offensive coach. Like, we need to be discussing the defense. I don't care about the offense. Like, let's talk about the defense and why we aren't keeping that up consistently. When that was one of the things he fixed after he got hired last year as the interim head coach. He made sure the defense was on point, and we're not playing the defense that we should be playing. Or I know it's 11 games in, but you want to see better defensive tendencies at this point that we aren't making. Like, especially like saying those third quarters where that's where we're just losing all momentum and just falling flat on our faces for whatever reason.
Yeah, I think it's especially the last 4 games where we just seen it. Like first few games, like even though they lost to the Cavs and lost to another team that they probably shouldn't have lost to. I forgot what team it was. Like
Washington.
Yeah, Washington. Yeah, in that. Yeah,
those are good teams, but those are wins. Like,
yeah, I forgot. I was about to say they put up 116 on them. I was about to say those games they didn't let them go overboard. These last games it's automatic like 115, 120. Like they're putting up high numbers, but like the only game I've seen them play decent, of course, that first game opening night. Pretty sure juices was flowing, everything was pumping, they was ready to go, and it was Dallas, the Mavs, Luka, all that, TNT. So that's the only game I really had. Obviously, probably most Hawks fans had no complaints, and
because I think that's what the regular season is. It's like rivals, TNT, ESPN, like it's going to be Channel 53.
Yeah, it's every single night.
Yeah, this is going to be Fox Sports now, and they don't want that anymore. Like they don't want that. Like especially after feeling disrespected with TV games last year. Nobody getting any individual, no all stars, no all NBA, no all defense, nothing. So it's kind of like we laughed at them. Now it's like how we stopped them from laughing at us now. Like jokes gonna start real soon if they don't tighten up the ship for real. And Nate might get fired. I hope not. Like God no.
Yeah, same here. I was like, I'm tired of the coaching carousel or the same old. But yeah, I think honestly I don't got no second thoughts about Nate. Like you said, Brice said, everything he's been saying in press conference, right? I think it's more so like I'm looking at the players at this point, but it's like I guess I do coach kids, and obviously they're young, but I don't know how hard it is to coach the like younger kids that's in the NBA that's like has a certain mindset to where it's like you just said, John, that they were disrespected all last year, where they felt like some Trey could have been all-star, Clint should have been all defense, like just certain accolades that should have been earned, and like now this year they're coming out falling flat on their face. Like Clint sometimes look almost unplayable, and like obviously Bogey's coming out struggling a little bit. Herder struggled a little bit. I think some people probably put that due to like maybe the new ball. They both were I think both of them had procedures in the offseason as well, so they didn't really get to condition and do as much with the team as others probably did as well. But all in all, like some of that stuff got to get put to the side. Like season's here, season started. You gotta, you just gotta play. You gotta perform. Like I said, even when we were talking about earlier about what Trey was saying, like that type of stuff is contagious. Like you saying that, like obviously, Hunter and Reddish are younger than you, and Herder as well. So it's like they're probably gonna follow that same suit. Like you're a leader right now. Like you can't be saying like, all right, we really regular season's boring. Like, well, you gotta play because if you don't, then you can go on the postseason. Like it's gonna be regular season and that's it. You're packing it up and going home. So I don't know. I'm hoping they find some type of juice, some type of fire sooner or later. I know this is a pretty difficult stretch of road games. Playing Phoenix, obviously the Warriors, Utah tonight. It's gonna be tough. And then they got the Bucks coming up on Sunday. I think they got one game in between. So it's definitely a tough stretch of games. Like I said, wasn't expecting it to be 4-7, but it can go to 4-11 real quick, or 4-10 real quick. So they got to get something right. But last few things before I guess we get to maybe the game. I know it just kicked off, but some of the things that you are seeing that they're doing right, some of the things that you may see that they're doing wrong, and some or just anything that you feel like that you would want to fix. Say if you was Nate McMillan.
Hey, I want to say to your point real quick about the ball. I think it was Paul George. He said that he thinks a lot of people shooting bad because of the change with the ball. Remember, it's been some years, but I remember when they first changed it, maybe I think it was like 2014, 15, somewhere around that time. And the ball was like real slick. It was so bad that the NBA like went back. So this happened before they changed the ball, and you're so used to it. They not even just changing the ball this time, they changed brands because they want to put the ball into Wilson. So Wilson is the new official game ball. So that's kind of a point. But the main thing I've seen that I personally think they've done well, I think everybody pretty said it much earlier in the show. That we're playing through John Collins and Trey, that pick and roll they got together. They always get good action out of it. And another, I just personally have liked seeing Cam kind of, like I said, I know he's cooled off recently, but he came out hot and he was playing well, and it's like he was finding himself. And I think as the team gets better, that's going to play a key part in it. So, but definitely more John Collins and Trey using that to open up stuff. But as you said before, I mean, it's really more about the defense. But the only thing I've seen they've done well is offense right now.
Right? That's what I'm
And sometimes that's not even the best thing that they do.
They've done well.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, he said that they've done well.
Like, no, the offense has been real well. Like, no, definitely. Like Trey is having, despite him kind of trying to figure out the new rule change, his numbers aren't that bad. Truthfully, like he still has some good games. Like, but like I said, I don't want to talk about the offense because it's right. I want to go with wrong because I feel like when we talk, they hear us talk. I said Shea not gonna be an all-star, but he want to be an all-star. His team sucks, so
He's not gonna be an all-star. That's terrible.
But it's like Nate has to figure out what buttons to press and what schemes work for everybody because you have a lot of good defenders on this team. DeAndre Hunter, Cam Reddish just on the perimeter. John Collins is a solid defender. Clint Capella. And you have DeLon Wright is a good defender off the bench. Solo, who is slow as a turtle, can still stay in front of his man, and he plays well in the zone. So you have to figure out what isn't working while the defense is playing like bad. And honestly, that also goes back to Trey, and is he giving that total effort as well? Because if the regular season is boring, I know he thinks regular season defense is boring. Because nobody cares about regular season defense for a Jabari Parker quote. And it's like until they fix the defense, it's gonna be more of this, and just I don't know, just fix the defense. And like Jelani keeps saying, like just find some juice somewhere. Like Jesus Christ, like they just look drained at the point like it's bored for real, like a high school class. Like
they're playing like it's boring.
Yeah. It's like they're playing like it's boring. Like play board,
mate, right?
Play board now. You ain't gonna be playing at all in the summertime.
Yeah, I mean. I think that like obviously when we do the pick and roll with John and Trey, that's been working for us. I think defensively, like you said, we have a lot of good individual defenders, and I think we need to be definitely I feel like we should be better defensively.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't know if it's just effort, but I do feel like we aren't playing with as much defensive energy as we could.
Yeah.
I think also, like I said, Clint's coming off that Achilles injection from the offseason, and I do think that that's slowing him down. Because if you remember last year, at the beginning of last year, he was coming off something else. And remember when he played those first few games last year and he looked bad and it was like oh, but he started to play better. I mean, that might be what's going on right now. Like I said, there's so many small things that can affect something that we don't really think about and everything. And because if he's anchoring that inside, then the inside is like, okay, you don't have to contest the shot, but then you got Hunter, all over you. You got Reddish all over you. You got Kevin Huerter all over you. And, I think defensively we should definitely be better than what we are. Obviously, listen, we know Trey, has his games defensively where, he's not the greatest defender. And I'm sure Trey looks at things and thinks, well, they kind of need me on the offensive end. So sometimes I got to take a play off, especially when he goes against those runners or 3-point shooters. Listen, Trey usually gets hit by the screen. He usually gets a pretty good shot. Like that's just how Trey is. But I think if we could just play better team defense, I think that's big. And then offensively, like I said, I think our offensive selection sometimes is bad. We got to improve that. I think we got to stop doing the ISO thing. I hate the ISO thing. I hate when we do that because, listen, everybody does ISO, but it's like I feel like we do ISO at the worst times, and especially if we do that. Okay, you go take the shot, or you go take the shot, and it just feels like the offense is so out of whack. And with the talent you have, you need to be taking advantage of everybody who's there. So I think if you need to run plays, and then whoever gets the best shot, like you need to trust everybody. You need to trust John. You need to trust Hunter. You need to trust Bogey. You can't just say, okay, I got to do everything. Like, listen, Trey, we get it. Superstar, he'll have his games where he takes over and does his thing. But I like that's the Suns game was the biggest for me. When I saw Bogey and Trey just jacking up shots, I was just like, there's no rhythm in this at all.
Yeah.
So we have to be better with our rhythm for us to be successful moving forward and continue a consistent play.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely a good point. Real quick, I guess before I was going to do the little report card of certain players. I know we've mentioned them and talked about them a lot, but I did want to talk a little bit more about John and maybe Kevin as well and Cam. But obviously, the game just tipped off because they were playing against the Jazz tonight. just what do y'all want to see? What do y'all expect? Even if it's in a win or a loss, particularly if we're going to win or lose, but what do y'all just want to see? I know it's probably going to be echoing more of what we're saying right now, but being that DeAndre and Bogey is out, what do you expect from certain guys that stepping up? Obviously, I think we expect a lot from Herter and Cam right now as the two wings, and maybe a few other guys. Obviously, Solo starting, we don't expect him to do much. We just expect him to get in the first 4 minutes, do what he needs to do, and then second unit come in and do the job. But what are we expecting from the game tonight?
Come back to backs are always tough, especially like when you kind of like derailing and on the bad side of some losses. So hopefully just come out with some energy, honestly, and like just not let Utah take any kind of control of the game. This is one of those games where Trey needs to get the team out of control, and this is the playoff team. The regular season's board. Utah has been a consistent playoff team. Everybody, even though they were number 1 seed last year, like Utah's a contender. So are you gonna be ready for this game? You up for this game? Just find an offense that keeps the rhythm for everybody. Like I say, cut down on some of the ISO, find some looks out of some Trey and John pick and rolls. Get Clint Capella slip into the basket a little more. Like let's involve everybody, but let's not involve everybody.
Me don't involve Solo pretty much.
I mean, hey,
but no, with Kevin getting the start tonight, I think this is a chance for him to get in some rhythm. Even if the Hawks weren't to win tonight, if Kevin could get himself going, I think that looks good for the future. But I think there's a good chance for him to get in rhythm. And then I agree with you especially with the Jazz playing through John Collins and getting some slips to the rim with Capella. Maybe you can get Gobert some foul trouble and get him off the court or whatever. And then just step up and play some defense tonight. The Jazz have some players that can get some buckets on you if you let them get away from you. Clarkson will end up with 40 real quick. Yeah. Donovan will give you 30 real quick. Even Bogdanovich, he'll give you
big bro.
Yeah, he'll give you a big 30 real quick. So play some defense. Good chance for Kevin though. I want to see him get hot because he needs to get himself.
I want to see Cam get back on.
Yeah, that'd be good too. Cam get in some rhythm, but I want to see Kevin get going tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the same thing I want to see. We only have 11 guys tonight, which is the fewest we've had so far in the game this season since, since Skyler and the 2 rookies are now playing with the Skyhawks right now. They're probably going to be down there for a minute. So, I just want to see everybody just execute tonight, just play within the system, whatever we're going, and just playing well. Kevin, ever since he got benched, I will say has played slightly better since that benching. Even last night against Golden State, he didn't play that bad. He started off 3 for 3. I just think consistency and just getting himself, in that consistent mode, being a shooter, getting back to what he's been doing. And, obviously with the lack or with, some depth taken away from us right now, I think we're going to need a big game from John and Trey again. And, listen, so far when they played a team twice this season, which has only been once, they won the rematch. So hopefully with this playing the Jazz again tonight, that'll lead to us winning this game and stuff. So, I just want us to come out, execute. Listen, if we're in a back and forth, both teams just throwing haymakers and Jazz end up winning, I don't think we're going to be as mad because it's like, all right, we competed. But if we do have a 10, 15 point lead and then we just collapse, then everybody's going to be like, oh, here we go again. And just, we don't want that.
All right, Nate McMillan.
Exactly, man. See the first thing you see, fire Nate McMillan. What is he gone out of here?
Right. Definitely gone, man. But that's a good point, Brice. Like you said, in a small sample size, in rematches, we are 1-0 at the moment. So hopefully we can make it 2-0.
I do have a question though.
Yeah.
So one part of the discussion I've seen is that everybody's been asking about like the closing lineup and stuff. So I just want to get y'all opinion. Who y'all think should be closing for the Hawks right now when everybody's healthy? Who do you think should be closing for the Hawks right now?
I'm glad this is Nate McMillan's job, not mine. No, but honestly, like they have so many players that you can go to. Is honestly, of course, Trey, John Collins, those other three players, honestly, is who's ever hot and who's ever giving me the most effort in defense. Because maybe you throw DeAndre Hunter, Cam, and Kevin Huerter out there with shooting defense and go small. You still got Bogey and Gallo who you could throw out there. Maybe you want reputation with Clint Capella. So it's just a lot of different lineups. I don't know. Maybe Lou Williams is playing great one night, and him and Trae Young is just on fire together, and you got to have them out there. So I don't know. Right now, in the regular season, it's the time to work on that, though, and figure out who's going to be your five, because you don't want to be figuring that out in game one of the playoffs or in March. So figure it out now. I know it should be Trae Young and John Collins and who's ever playing, whoever fits the best around those three and whatever the lineup is you're trying to run.
Yeah, everybody healthy. I for sure have Trae, John, and DeAndre Hunter out there.
Yeah.
The other two I would mix between who's playing well between Gallo, because of course, if you need some offense, you can play through him. He can get a shot. He's 16. He can get a shot over anybody in the mid range. So between Gallo, Kevin, Cam, then like you say, Lou might be hot one night, or Bogdanovich might be hot, or even if it could be a good closing lineup with
Big O out. I forgot about Big O who's hurt right now.
Well, Darrell Wright's playing. DeLon Wright, Darrell, his brother. DeLon Wright playing.
Maybe Solomon Hill having one of those games where he
Solo's never in my closing lineup.
I see him against Philly. He hit like 4 threes in the fourth quarter. Like, maybe he's out.
Boy,
Solo. I definitely want Trae, John Collins, and DeAndre Hunter out there. You got Trae and John for the pick and roll, and DeAndre Hunter's always going to be a defender. So, that was good for sure.
I know the argument has been that a lot of people want to see Cam more so in the closing lineup, and because I always see parts of the game. I don't know. There's only maybe 2 games I've seen fully, or either I'll be working at the same time at the arena, but I don't feel this. And that's the argument. I guess is going back to what we were talking about earlier, that he doesn't really stagger the first and second unit really at all. So I don't know how much Cam and DeAndre really have played together this year. And that's something I was really looking forward to coming into this year, like just seeing how both those guys play off the wing. And like I said, which both honestly can get hot on the opposite end at the same time as well. Like we've seen games where 2 maybe 3 games ago, Hunter had 26 or 28, something like that. And we've seen earlier in the year, Cam was putting up 20 balls, pretty much first 3-4 games. So I don't know. That's one thing I do want to see more so. So maybe he does. I'm hoping he starts to go more so to that closing lineup, because I do want to see Cam and DeAndre playing together a little bit more. But like y'all are saying, it's really just going to have to be the hot hand, because there's so many guys that can be hot and then so many guys can be cold on the same night, which kind of sucks. But, I mean, I guess that's what we keep talking about with the depth of the team. But
right.
I don't know. I guess before I let you go, Brice, I did want to ask. So we keep saying like DeLon Wright, and I know the other night Nate McMillan somebody asked why he wasn't in the rotation, and Nate McMillan says because losing the rotation right now. So what do y'all just think? What do y'all think? I guess about DeLon as a player, and just like, does he need to be in there? Like, does he need to see some minutes? Like, are y'all fine with Lou being that backup point guard still? Like, what y'all think about that?
I mean, yeah. I mean, you wouldn't trade for him if you just want him to sit on the bench. For me, I mean, because you saw they know that's why they made the trade. They knew Lou is a certain limitation. He can get you a bucket, but I mean, outside of that, he doesn't give you much. DeLon at least can have games where he can pass the ball pretty effectively, play defense. He's a biggest guard on the team at the point guard position. So I think he definitely, it's kind of funny because if you think about it, he was struggling at first, and then everybody was like, put Cooper in. And then Lou came in, put right back in. So, I think, I definitely think he should get some minutes. It's funny because he said that, and then literally next game against Golden State, he played DeLon Wright. So, I don't know. Maybe I guess we got to get the media to ask him these questions, so at least put it in his head. So, I mean, I think DeLon definitely. I always said DeLon, he's just starting off slow, but I think he would get a shot. That's why I didn't like they placed him. If you want to give Lou like 3 or 4 minutes here or there, that's fine. Just him being the main backup point guard, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I don't think Lou, like, we all love Lou, but Lou is he's at the end, but he still has those moments. But I'm not surprised that he's trying to early in the season find minutes for him because Lou was there at the end, so he knows his stuff or whatever. And I think he's trying to really figure out what Lou can provide him. But I don't think, like Brice said, trade for him to sit on the bench. But DeLon Wright over his career has always ended up in these situations, honestly, because I followed him for a while because I've always thought he was a pretty good player. But he always ends up in these places where he's probably going to be the backup or even potentially a starter, and for some reason he doesn't play. And I don't know, it's just always weird, but I think he should be the backup, the first, backup point guard off the bench. Just because Lou can't do it every night. And Lou's not a real point guard anyway, but he's going to handle the ball because he can score. But DeLon's going to give you more defensively, and I think he can set people up better. So I think he's going to start playing more.
I just think it's just early in the season. Lou can imitate some of the stuff Trae Young can do in the pick and roll and the half-court offense. And like you said, I know Lou, he was here for the last half part of the season and the playoffs. And let me get some of these minutes out of Lou now before I have to ice him before the end of the season for real. Like,
or maybe you keep him on ice for the end of the
season. Right. Like, I big minutes from Lou in most of November. Not really. No. Like, if DeLon Wright is healthy, I can see DeLon Wright being the first point guard off the bench for the most nights because Lou not gonna give you good. He gonna give you minutes, but is he gonna give you good minutes every night? Like, he's just gonna be the old guy out there at some point. He's especially as a smaller guard, he's definitely not playing any defense right now in the NBA. I can tell you that he ain't playing no defense. DeLon will be the point guard, be the backup point guard mid-November, early December though, and we'll see Lou again in the playoffs.
See him in the playoffs. That's what we need him for.
That's what he's here for, a veteran scoring guard.
Yeah, for sure.
He can imitate Trae a little bit.
Yeah, but that's what hopefully it's gonna have to be. But hopefully, I don't know what the score is right now, but hopefully we are able to pull out a victory tonight. But of course, like I said, we got to end off the show with some NBA news. I feel like there's a lot of NBA news. Like I said, we didn't get one of these in a while, but I'll start with everything that happened with Miami and Denver last night. I honestly, I know we're in a group message, and of course they was going at it, but I'm honestly surprised how split everybody is on this situation. How some people are they're like, some are like Morris is wrong, but it's like that's.
I think they can't get over the push them in the back part. Like,
yeah,
once you get over that,
how was he supposed to push him when
he turned around?
He instantly went.
Let me turn you around real quick. No, that's a good point.
My problem is Markieff arrogance is thinking that he was just gonna shoulder that man and he can walk away and nothing's gonna happen. Like that was his fault. Like he tried to tackle him and he said I gave a hard foul. That wasn't no hard foul. He put his shoulder into that man's ribs. Yep. He instantly reacted because you're right. If he would have did that to a smaller player, they would have failed. But Jokic is 7 feet, 300 pounds out there. He was able to stay on his feet, and that's where the problem is. Because, he doesn't fall over, so it doesn't look. It looks bad, but it doesn't look as bad because he don't fall over. If he runs into anybody else like that, they're gonna fall over, and then it look crazy. He would have, even if he would have hit LeBron like that. LeBron would have. He definitely would have fell over. But since it's a 7-footer, he gonna stand up. So, I mean, hey, he went right back at him.
No, you absolutely right. But
because they said he wait till he turned around. He didn't wait for nothing. He really didn't wait. I thought he was gonna bully him and walk away. And he went right.
That's exactly what I said.
Yeah, that's what it was. Like, it's the arrogance to think I can do this and I'm gonna just raise my hand up, get a foul, and walk away. Like, why is that?
Raise my hand up.
If that would have happened to anybody else on the court, they would have been upset. And maybe I just personally think it happened so quick and Jokic went right back at him, so nobody had a chance to do it. But that's where the other player come in and take that for you. But Jokic take his own. So.
That's right. He gonna get his own. Yeah. I guess my whole thing is like people don't understand. If you we've all played pickup ball at some point, and there's always that one guy. If you get fouled, if Markieff Moore, that happened to you playing pickup on the outside, inside, wherever. You gonna do the same thing, right? Like you gonna rush him.
So I'm
like, you just are, and that's not even me promoting violence. That's just me saying that's a natural reaction to when, because we playing basketball. At the end of the day, I don't care. We playing basketball, bro. Like, you don't have to do this. Like,
if Jokic doesn't react to him, would Marquise have gotten a flagrant one?
No.
Do you think he would got a flagrant foul?
No, they would gave him a flagrant foul.
I think he would got a flagrant.
He wouldn't have got ejected. But they would have gave him a flagrant one just for the fact that they would have called it an unnecessary basketball play.
Yeah.
So I'm on Jokic's side the whole. I'm on Jokic's side though. Like I said, I get what you're saying about him pushing him in the back. He did just go, but I really think that's what people's problem with it is. Like,
that's definitely the problem.
Yeah, that's the problem. Yeah.
Like,
yeah, that's definitely the
and then Marquise Morris, oh my God, they brought a stretch out like he got shot or something. They didn't get a stretch out for Ricky, bro. Like they had to drive him back to the house. Like Ricky didn't even get a stretcher. Like they brought a stretcher out for him.
Wow.
Oh, you didn't see the stretcher?
I didn't see that.
Yeah, I heard people saying talking about it, but I didn't see it.
They brought a stretcher out for him. I saw the stretcher on the court. Like you can't, you too tough to do stuff like that, I guess, as well. Like you forever, you and your brother are forever the tough guys until it's really time to be tough. Okay, this is the last thing I'm gonna say. Nobody in the NBA is gonna do anything to anybody. Like that's it right there.
We'll start it there.
Right, like I should have said that first, my man. Nobody in the NBA in 2022 is gonna do anything when the lowest contract is $10 million. For who? For you?
Not happening.
It's not happening. I'm done. No, that's it.
I'm done. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of in agreement. Like, because the thing they said too is like, if Morris was just trying to do a little on those fouls, he could just touched him, grabbed him, and that's it. The fact, and the game was over at that point too. Like there was, it felt like it was just one of those things where you just want to give him a cheap one. But apparently, the story behind it is that the entire game, Joker was fouling Miami Heat players and hitting their face when he fouled them. So I think it was one of those, okay, he keep doing that, we gonna get him at some point. And Morris obviously is the guy you can probably send to do it. Yeah. And then Joker reacted. He was like, and he said after the game, he's like, I gotta protect myself. So I gotta do what I gotta do. Like I tell people, like y'all forget Joker came from a family. If you seen his brothers and you seen like he used to get his butt beat growing up, like he ain't as soft as people think he is. Like so, and I think one of his brothers got arrested for hurting somebody, and then another one was boxing. They had a video of this show us on Twitter. So clearly, his brothers they went at the Morris twins too on Twitter. So it's just such a chaotic situation. But I'm with Joke in this situation. I'm just like, I mean, he's gonna defend himself. Morris did that, and he had to do what he had to do. He had to, And the funniest thing, I'm not gonna lie, it was funny because it was funniest about that situation was when Morris tried to get up. And he couldn't get up. And I was like, dang, Joker did a number on you.
I'm not gonna lie. Joker is a big dude, though. He probably did push him
crazily hard. Yeah.
Rolling over.
Good boy, he was struggling to get up. He couldn't get up fully, bro. He had to go back on his knees. Like, nah, I gotta stay down again.
Yeah, I was thinking he did it for theatrics, but it might have been for real. Like he just
what I think
that whiplash real quick got him.
Yeah, exactly. And it's but also it's kind of cool, seeing at least in Morris's defense, the entire Miami Heat locker room after the game standing out there. I don't know if y'all seen that picture.
The picture. Yeah, the picture. Yeah. It just actually had me laughing because it's like it looked like something off like a movie cover or album cover or something. It just looked crazy. But it's like when you I looked at Kyle Lowry's face the most. I was like, Kyle Lowry, bro, what Lowry gonna do? Lowry just sitting there. He didn't even look like he wanted to be there. He looked like Jimmy told him, like, all right, you gotta come. Like you the starting point guard, you got to go front row. Like he did not look like he wanted to be there. He just like.
And the funniest thing is the Heat, like they got guys who you think, all right, Jimmy showed you he about that action. We saw what happened in Minnesota. You know what I'm saying? He's someone who would, if the bubble rumors, he's a savage. We gotta see. And then
Jimmy ain't tough.
Jimmy ain't tough.
I mean, and then also you gotta think about Udonis Haslem. Udonis has him. He checks in this game. You know, Udonis has him might do something. He's someone they send in there, you know, to do some dirty work.
I will say that Udonis might do something.
What he gonna do? He only got a uniform on his warm up.
Hey, that's why it's funny. I think they play each other again. I think later this month, at the end of the month.
Yeah,
and they say if you see Udonis enter the game, you know why he's coming in there.
But at the end of the day, what does Udonis has him go do to Jokic that Jokic is gonna feel where it's like, oh, you got me back. Like,
he gotta look up to Jokic.
He go push him as well, and Udonis is gonna fall over in slow motion.
Hey, you might even see a PJ Tucker signing in there.
I was gonna say PJ Tucker.
PJ Tucker is also getting pushed over.
Yeah.
Turtle on the floor when he can't get up.
The only person who made a business decision during that situation was Tyler Hero.
I was thinking that too.
Yeah, Tyler Hero just looked at him like, bro, why would you do that?
Tyler, the only one on the team that had some sense that night.
I didn't see Dr. Robinson around.
I'll stay on the bench.
He was definitely sitting on the bench.
That whole situation is funny though, but the standing outside the locker room where the security guards is like,
that wasn't even security. That was
security in the locker room.
Someone said it was
nothing's gonna happen. If y'all was gonna fight him, you'd have fought him on the court. Jimmy said he circled a date. He said that about TJ Warren. I'm still waiting on that fight. It's the NBA. They millionaires, and they fighting. That's not gonna happen. Exactly. So if you're gonna fight somebody, don't fight the 7-footers. I mean, I know everyone's tough, and they gonna believe in themselves, but don't fight the 7-footers.
I feel like if Jokic was to slap somebody, he'd leave a red mark on their face.
Like, man, he's a real life giant. Leave him alone.
Exactly. They thought he was soft because he don't be in the paint like that. He's like they thought because he's a point or 4 point whatever. When you out perimeter, they think he's soft, but it was just funny as a whole to me. Just to see how everyone's just so split on it. Like I definitely
everyone
is very split. Like down the middle too.
I do think he's gonna get suspended though, because the NBA is gonna say, we know you can't do that though. I don't think it's bad as people think, because they're gonna take into account the flagrant foul that led to it. So
just push
probably one game each.
Yeah, they're gonna give him a game.
Okay, he shoved him. Like he shoved him.
Yeah.
Shoved him pretty violently.
Yeah.
He gonna get 2 games.
Oh, you think he'll get multiple games?
I think he'll get 2. I think it's a precedent for 2 there.
They're also probably trying to send a message like before they meet again, like, hey, if you do anything, this might not be 2 games next time. Like this might be 5, 6.
Well,
like I'm sure they're gonna put refs on alert. Like, listen, if they start getting chippy, tee them up immediately. Let them know we're not doing anything.
I think that's what Jimmy hoping on. They gonna get in there. They think they gonna get in their head and they gonna come out that hard foul and talking to the refs where Jokic just gonna beat them up again to get a triple double. Like you get a triple double on y'all again.
Exactly. But outside of that, before we close, I just wanted to ask some of you guys, like, just maybe some surprisingly good or bad. It can be either surprisingly good or bad. Just teams or players you've been watching this year that just wasn't expecting them to be surprisingly good or surprisingly bad.
I got 2 surprisingly good. I guess I'm gonna go to Tyler Hero real quick, who I did say I had him in the 6th man of the year conversation, who is lighting it up off the bench for Miami, and he looks like he might be the 6th man of the year, especially with how good Miami is. And then of course my actual 6th man of the year, Carmelo Anthony, who is saving the Los Angeles Lakers season this year. He is saving them. Put LeBron on the bench, start Carmelo. And that's how they win a championship. I'm just playing. But Carmelo's been really good this year, like especially mostly catching, shooting, and just being able to play with playmakers like LeBron and Russell Westbrook. He's been the only good spot for the Lakers, to tell the truth. Truthfully, I know Anthony Davis played good the other day, but Melo is balling. He gonna win 6th man of the year this year if he keep it up. He averaging like 38,000 points right now.
Yeah, I can see Melo running for 6th man, and then Tyler could get most improved possibly. The main thing I've been watching is the Bulls. Like I've enjoyed watching DeMar and Zach LaVine look like Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen. out there.
What's wrong with Scottie Pippen?
But no, it's been good to see how well that they all fit, and like it's the perfect team for Lonzo because he gets to run the team and just kind of play defense too. And Vucevic, who can get 20 and 10, but looks so much better as the third option. So I've been liking the Bulls. I hate that they lost Patrick Williams because I think that's going to affect how they really could be. And they still waiting on Kobe White. So, we'll see what keeps happening with their season. But I like watching the Bulls this year. Sure. I hope they I really want to see them kind of get a home court playoff seed.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's funny, also Tyler Hero for me, obviously, because we know what happened last year. Just got to his head and kind of fell off, and everybody's like, oh, he's garbage, and now he's coming back, lighting teams up. Finally playing like we saw him rookie year, so that's cool and everything like that. And also, I gotta give him some love. Ricky Rubio, he lighting people up. Rubio lighting people up.
40 balls. I never expect the 40 ball.
Bro, remember when he entered the league? All he could do was pass. Couldn't even score, just pass. Yeah. Now he's actually able to go out there now and drop 20 if he need to, and then he can still pass. Like Rubio, he's one of the main reasons why Cleveland isn't where they are right now.
It's like 25 games real quick though.
Olympic
Rubio, it's just good to see him balling. You know what I'm saying? Still showing like, all right, he's a player. Solid, and then just one update on the game. I just wanted to let y'all know in 12 minutes of play, Kevin Huerter has 12 points. So
okay.
I like that so far.
The first day you want to see a big game. But for me, first said it earlier in the episode, but my KD MVP predictions are still alive. He got a lot of competition, but like you said, he easy money sniper right there. Like that man is cooking everybody. Every day I see a new clip of KD doing something that like this is just too easy. Like 7-foot score like that. But I enjoy watching him play. Besides when we played him, he was straight destroying us. Like that's the only time I didn't really enjoy it too much. But him and I don't know, Miles. I think the last few games I think he's been more predictable. But Miles Bridges had a little 4, 5, 6 game stretch where he was putting up 30 points or whatever.
Like 25 and 1.
Yeah, exactly. So like Miles Bridges, the Hornets as a whole, they still got similar problems to us. They're just young, don't really play too much defense, don't know how to close out games either. But he definitely surprised me. I mean, I knew like from Michigan State, I knew he could score, had a little bit of tools in his bag, but he's definitely expanded a lot. Like he's a lot more comfortable just shooting three balls. So definitely it'd be interesting to see if he's able to keep it up as well. He might be one of those in the most improved running as well, along with, like I said, Tyler Hero. If he doesn't win that 6-man, being that he fell off kind of hard last year, like he definitely can win it this year if he keeps it up. But outside, and then I do want to give. I mean, people keep saying that no one's really giving too much love. I don't know what the record is now. I know they've had 2 more games. I don't know if they won or lost, but the Washington Wizards at a point they were 73, so they were giving their little flowers for that. They probably was. I don't know if they're 74, 75 now. I don't know how many games they played since then, but I know they were 73 at a point. Playing pretty good ball, even when they still got a few guys. I think they have Hachimura. He's still out. Somebody else as well, but a lot of people just felt like I guess they weren't going to be good because they called them the Lakers outcasts. They just threw them out, threw them over there. It was going to be a bunch of misfits just on the team, but they actually played pretty well together. They played pretty hard as well. And KCP, another little resurgence. He lighting people up from 3 as well. We were one of the teams that he found that stroke. So just shout out to them. They're a little bit of flowers. I don't know if they're able to keep it up throughout the whole year, but starting out 7-3 for a team that many people had probably closer, even not in the play-in, like closer to the bottom of the Eastern Conference Finals, or Eastern Conference in general. Definitely, nothing to bat an eye at. But other than that, I think that does it for the show. I appreciate you guys, of course, for coming on. We'll do report cards probably next time for some other guys. I'll give them a few more games to kind of prove their worth. And we already talked to hit on some of the guys that are doing their part. But hopefully, don't know the score. But if Kevin Huerter has 12, I'm guessing we're close to leading. close to leading, or we have to have the lead. So
it was a 4-point game when I just last looking.
It's a 5-point game now.
Okay, cool. I'm definitely finna turn it on. But of course, we're down 5.
Down 5, yeah, 41-30.
He got 12. What everybody else doing? He the only one.
I mean, only okay, not only, but like only 5 Hawks players have scored so far. Most of the offense came from Capella, Trey, and Herder so far. Cam got 5, but
is he shooting more consistent? Is it 5? It's like on what?
2 of 4. 2 of 4.
Okay, cool.
There's a couple of shots so far.
50%. All right. Well, without you.
Points, bro. Like this is terrible.
Apparently, Solo airballed another 3 tonight. So.
That's expected. You get one airball Solo 3 every time.
That kills me when they talk about that. And then, why is this man playing?
Like, pulling 3, like why is he shooting? Like it's fine for him to play, but don't try to score, bro. Like get the ball up. Like, your role, your role. Don't try to shoot.
Back.
I don't see. They be like, how does Nate look at that and just think I don't need to take him off the floor?
Yeah, like passing those at the screen. That's it. Like
he play
motion offense for you. Did he?
He played with Nate in Indiana, so
I
think he knows. Like Nate, like, all right, I got you. I got you.
Let me get one shot up. Let me get one shot. Like, all right, bro, get to the table.
I got you.
Just let him. It's ridiculous. But like I say, hopefully he plays sparingly tonight. We'll talk about it next show. But I really do want to see Jalen Johnson get some of those minutes. Like it has to be coming soon, like December, January time at the very least.
It just depends whenever they call him back up.
Exactly.
From something telling me they might keep him there most of the season.
That's going to suck. That's going to suck big time. But we'll see. Like so, maybe when Big O comes back, maybe like I said, lineups are going to be different anyway. So we'll see how everything shakes. But of course, before we head out, I want to let you guys, of course, everybody know where they can find you at. Hoopers, I'll let you guys go first.
Of course, yeah, you can find us anywhere podcasts are available. Just search the Hoopers Pod. Every Friday we do the Hoopers Morning Run.
Not this
Friday though. We're gonna do the show Saturday. I don't know what time we're gonna put it on Twitter. So follow us on Twitter at the What's the Twitter?
Hoopers Pod.
There you go. Follow us on Twitter at the Hoopers Pod. And then also every Monday and Friday, catch us on the Nothing But That channel through the Dash Radio app for the Hoopers Hour. And, of course, on Wednesday, on the halftime app, we got the Hoopers Room. Who we doing this week? We're doing Dominique for the Hoopers Room.
Dominique this week. So, Hawks fans, yeah, go ahead and join on that. Like I say they do dope shows on the halftime show, man.
He should have been put on the top 50. He was made top 75 players of all time. He got a statue outside of the arena, so it's time to talk about Dominique.
Yeah. Y'all can find me on Twitter, Brice_2K. You can find me on my website, Brice2ksports.com. Also, you can catch me on my YouTube at Brice Lewis. Catch my Atlanta Hawks and Atlanta Falcons fan shows where we bring people on from the industry to talk about the teams. Last show just had NFL Network reporter Steve Weiss on the show for the Falcon show. So if y'all want to check that out, go ahead and check that out for sure. And
Yep. I say definitely. And of course, you already guys know where to find us at WTTM Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter as well. Appreciate everybody from Off the Ball. Edgar, we didn't think it was cool that you cut the Hoopers out the first few minutes. Don't let that happen again.
Damn.
Or Prez, whichever one it was. Knicks fans wilding, whichever one it was. Don't do that no more. But appreciate everybody for tuning in. Hoping for our Hawks win. And definitely going to do more of these. We're going to try to do it every 5-6 games. I know 11 is a long stretch. But like I said, they came kind of quick. Like, I don't know.
They did.
So they just had like 3 back-to-backs. I remember. But so we'll definitely try to hit on one maybe in a week or two. And hopefully by then we're above 500. And like I said, hope for Hawks win tonight. And we'll see everybody next time. Appreciate y'all. Have a good one.
All right.